So I'm going to find my screen. So welcome everyone to this rewards working group session. It is April 27th. And what do we have to talk about today? We have, in addition to status updates, I think we will demo 2 new bot commands that will be really useful, especially for beginners using the praise bot. And if I understood correctly, Chewy wants some time describing the tutorial storyboard. Other than that, yeah, and me and Septi perhaps should go through this forum post about the rewards budget allocation quickly. And other than that, are there any like more major topics that we should add to the agenda?
I have a new post for the onboarding. I just wanted to clarify about the bot, the meeting and the Twitter bots, but I think I got the answer already.
Okay,
So
cool.
just
So, but then let's begin in the beginning and start with praise status updates. Who would like to go first? Nebs, how about you?
Yeah, I can go first. So I was just on the call with Matty and he helped me. So I finally finished a small refactor for the settings. And because we had a bug when we were trying to save multiple fields on settings. And also same bug occurred on the period settings. So that should be fine now. And also I worked on other small bugs, like I think when period was closed, the screen was empty, and what else? Also, we were getting some errors when user is not admin, so that is fixed. And next I will try to figure out both and maybe help YYV in the future there.
Right.
And
Thanks. Who's next?
I can go. The big thing that I got done was set up tests for the API, and well, I didn't write tests, but I set up the testing framework for the API, and I wrote tests for the authentication, and then I set up the GitHub so that every time we open a new PR, the test suite that we have on the API will have to be run, and all the tests will have to pass before we can merge it, and then. I've been working on consolidating all the logic to calculate the scores throughout the application because it was kind of scattered and hard to reason about. So consolidating it and removing any like redundant logic and then making sure it's very clear code, and then I'll write tests based on my understanding of how the score should be calculated, so that we can be very, very secure and know that that's all working properly. I've also been doing a little bit of just like support with Nebs and PR reviews and that kind of thing.
I think we just concluded. Nuggan found out that the exported praise data differs from the stuff you see in the UI.
Yeah, there were a few separate implementations, but I'm making progress on deduplicating them, and then
Nice.
I'll write tests on them and confirm that my assumptions about it are right with you guys.
Great. How about Mike? You are muted, it seems.
We can hear you.
Okay, Mike, while you look into your audio issues, I can describe what I've been doing. So you just merge a pull request for the Dockerization of the different components of Praise, which means that we can package all the different subsystems in Docker containers and more easily run them in a production environment. So this is a step in the direction of making the system more easily installed and easily managed and easily upgraded and so on. So it's the first step in that direction. Next steps will be to make sure that these Docker images are automatically built on GitHub and pushed to the GitHub packages registry, and that we also include a mechanism to download and upgrade the images when there are new ones. So we need to figure out that structure with maybe dev builds and production builds and a staging server and a production server, so that we can try out the stuff before it goes live, basically using this new methodology. There is one like the Docker thing that can do monitoring and downloading and upgrading Docker containers for you, and it seems really straightforward. So I hope that it also turns out to be that. Mike, still no sound? No. I'm sorry. We'll continue, and if you get things going again, just scream, and you will can take the mic.
Sometimes it helps to jump out and in of the channel.
But waiting for that, let's see. Vi, would you care to show us some bot, the new bot commands?
Yeah, sure. Just give me 1 second. I need to start it up.
Or if you rather like me, I could open up my Discord here as well. Also, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you have the bot running, it would be all right. Mine is taking a little bit longer to run. I just fetched the latest branch.
Yeah, I think this should be good to go. So this is in the test, my personal test Discord channel server.
Alright, so we added 2 commands. One is who am I? That's just giving the user some information about themselves, like which Ethereum wallet address are they using, what user roles they have, and it lists out their activations. So for now, it's only listing Discord, but in future, if we are going to Telegram or Twitter as well, then it would also list that. And the second command we added is is help, and that's just to get some help text for Praise. So either you could just run /help, or you could give in a parameter to that. So you can mention the command. So for example, activate forward praise admin who am I? So it just gives an overview of the command and usage information. We could make this more detailed in future if needed. But for now, I think this suffices.
I think these two new commands are. I hope that they will be super helpful for especially for new communities. That a community manager can just redirect people to if you're uncertain if you're activated or not, and that kind of stuff. Just type the who am I command. If you wonder how praise works, just try to type the /help command to get some help.
Besides that, there are other updates that I've been working on. One is the praise reasons. Previously, you might notice that while quantifying praise, that some of the praise text had some weird numbers in them, and those are Discord IDs. So there's an issue for that I've been working on that normalizes that into usernames and role names and channel names. And I think we'll open a PR for that tonight. I'm unsure when. But yeah, that I still need to add it to the front end. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, thanks. And so unless we have mic on the mic, we'll move on to next topic, which is source cred, and I don't have much to say about that, and Matteo is not here. We will most likely remove this as an item.
I do have something to say. So there was a meeting tracker bot that I was working on. I still haven't tested it out on a deployed source cred instance, and that's mostly because I wasn't able to replicate the TEC source cred instance. So it would be great if you or Mateo, whoever set up our instance, if you could like make a clone instance for me, in which I could test that, and then we can maybe get it deployed.
Yeah, that would be super cool to have the meeting track about finally up and running. I think it will be Matteo helps you with that. I was never involved setting up the instance.
All right, I'll contact Mateo.
Yeah, and regarding the repositories, we need to add some more repositories to track to source cred, and I just sent Matteo the full list of repositories that we should track from Commons build, and to my view, I think we should track all repositories that have had activity since since July last year. So it's the same time period that we track everything else. We track praise during that time period. We track that is the time period we look back when calculating cred and grain from source cred, and also the repositories we look at are only those who have had activity during that period. Let's move on to the RAD dashboard, unless anyone has something else to say about source cred. No. So, Nagano or T-Way, would you like to give a status update?
Yeah. Well, first of all, to keep the record straight, it was actually G-Way who noticed the issues with the numbers there. So, praise to her. And yeah, well, we are going forward. We had a sync, and we have kind of a list of stuff we want to continue developing. The last changes I did were what we talked about, changing a bit the structure of the repo and working a bit on how the new system gets used to make it a bit user friendlier. We now also remove quantifiers who didn't show up to distribute from the actual distribution of rewards, so people solely don't get TC tokens for not doing anything. And yeah, I think the plan is to maybe in around a week switch the main switch the system we are using now to the main and start using that. I think Mitch, we'll have to sync with you to kind of clear any doubts that it should be easier to use and more practical. And yeah, I think maybe Jiwa, you want to add something?
Not really. Well, I guess follow up from the analysis I posted on the forum last week about the disagreement on duplication and dismissals. I didn't see much discussion going on the forum. I don't know how we usually approach this. Do we encourage more discussion? Do we directly incorporate that into a quantifier guideline, or like any suggestion how to go forward?
Yeah, well, two things. I was just going to keep shilling it during the community call when we have a reward system section. The second is that I actually have a draft updating the quantifier onboarding that includes the stuff that you posted in your analysis.
Yeah.
You have that?
So
I was doing that.
go ahead.
So we did double work again.
You did that?
Yeah, I just did that.
Oh, because I posted the draft like earlier last week and I tagged you in it.
Oh, I didn't see that. But I thought I was supposed to do that.
Okay, well, just look at the
Thanks.
draft and pick out any nuggets that you want to include. Please.
And when it comes to the RAD dashboard, in order for us to be able to do the first token distribution, correct me if I'm wrong, that these are the steps that we need to still to complete. We need to make sure the calculations, the praise score calculations are correct, so that we know the exported data is correct, and we need to update the data in the repository, so we know that we have the right export and the right data in the repository, and we need to then know that with the dashboard, the RAD dashboard works as does its thing correctly, and it currently does, or do we have a check mark on that, or do we want to bring in this new version before we do the first distribution, or is it either or?
Yeah, I think we definitely want to use this new version because the main repo is a bit outdated, and probably swap it. Definitely, yes.
Okay, so then we will await your merge, and then when we have the correct data and the correct dashboard, then we can run it and test it and before paying out. Great.
Last comment, Jue, on that. I think, well, engagement in the forum is a challenge sometimes, but also I think this information is very valuable for us internally to continue to improve the process.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would suspect that if it's not controversial, if it's not if no one contests the analysis, then there won't be that much discussion. And what I saw from your analysis wasn't super nice analysis. There wasn't much to contest there. So it's just adding this to it becomes sort of evergreen content that could support us in the future quantifications.
Yeah, makes sense. By the way, about fixing the data, the discrepancy between UN and the sheet, is there a timeline? Like, do we gonna meet up sometime to make sure everything works?
Yeah, perhaps we could. I don't know, Matt. What do you think? Do you think the praise score calculation upgrade fix will be online and merged before the end of this week?
What day is it? It's Wednesday. I would say by the beginning of next week.
Because we have this weekly RAD dashboard meeting on Mondays.
Yeah, I
And
think
that,
before
that,
then.
that in theory would be a good time to do another export and test with a new RAD dashboard version. If Nagane and Siwi, if you are ready with that part, then as well.
Yeah, I think that's doable on my end.
Okay, cool. Then I think we'll try to have the ambition to test everything out on Monday.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Quantifications. How are things going, Mitch?
Way better than that stupid conference is over. Jeez, man. No, it's going better this week. A lot more people are showing up and getting stuff done. So
We weren't that many people in Amsterdam from the TC, but
I don't know. Everybody was just like not doing it. Griff was out. A bunch of you guys were out. I don't know.
I did mine today.
But anyway,
it never gets
Okay.
assigned. I don't know. I have a beef with the algorithm.
Oh man, jeez, you know. Anyway, business as usual. I'll be closing the round in about 9 hours. We'll have our insight call on tomorrow. We'll open up for March. March? Are we at March already? Yeah. Or are we at February? I can't remember. Anyway, the next month will go up on Friday and we'll open it. And then, yeah, keep going from there.
Actually, who is the hero that made the bot so it messaged you? It was so nice.
Vi.
Ooh, praise Vi. Thank you, man. And thank you, Mitch, for reaching out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not hopefully, and April will be the last month with old praise, or a praise from the old system, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we are retiring. We're retiring the old bot from very soon. So in May it should not produce any results. But we also need to decide on whether we should retire the Telegram bot completely and and don't have a Telegram bot at all, or if we should have to live with having to export and import data generated by the Telegram bot each month.
I think it would be neat if you could make a bot for Telegram that integrates with the new system, rather than importing praise. If we could spend time doing that.
Yeah, that is the question. Sorry, now this is slightly off topic when it comes to quantification. So sorry, Mitch, if I diverted the conversation.
No, it's all good. I got distracted anyway.
Well, my main point was that hopefully the April will be the last month where we have this old data, old PraceBot data.
March is the last month of old data.
No, April.
Okay, so then it'll be
the old PraceBot is still partly being used.
Okay.
But yeah, then there's a question of the Telegram bot. So maybe we will have to live with the importing praise for some time. We'll see.
Okay.
How's the status when it comes to quantifiers? Do we have enough?
Never enough. We're using about 20. I think there's about 34 in the pool right now. So I mean, it works, but you know, I feel bad for like Livy and Zep and you know everyone else. So there's never too many, I think, as long as we really nail this onboarding stuff. Like just keep loading them on. Yeah. After that, I don't think there's anything to add for quants. I mean, I can see maybe this is more reward board, so I'll just let you keep going.
So reward board. I'd like to have a quick look at the forum post that's Septi and Julian made. Nagan. What should we just run through this quickly for everyone to know what it's all about? So in short, this is what it's all about. The reward board have been allocated this budget, 55,000, slightly more than 55,000 TEC in the initial buy-in to be used for rewards. And we propose to spend these funds in a way that makes the funds last until June, to the end of August this year, which means that in the end the funds have lasted for 14 months. That means a token allocation per day of 134 TEC tokens. We chose to budget the distribution in TEC instead of a DAI X DAI, because then we don't have to take into account any fluctuations in TEC token price. But that also means that 134 TEC can be more or less depending on the price of the token, of course. We propose that the contributors get 90% for each praise period of the allocation, that quantifiers get 7% of each allocation, and the reward board members get 3% for each period. When we have done trials on this, it turns out that the sum for the quantifiers and the reward board in the end is usually the same, roughly. Is that am I right there?
Yes, in the same range, yes.
Like each quantifier would get the same amount as each reward board member.
Exactly.
Each period, yeah, sort of, because the budget is smaller, but there also the number of reward board members are smaller, so it sort of evens out. And these are the first 12 reward rounds. So we started the first round mid-month of July 12th, which was after the hatch. So therefore, we have allocated a proportionally smaller amount of TEC for that month. During all these first 11 months, we have allocated 100% of the budget towards praise rewards. That is because SourceCred does not support that we can go in and do retroactive cred and grain distributions for a month and for an old month. So we have the system only supports making a cred and grain distribution as of the day you press the button, and then you can choose to look a certain time back into the future. So that is what we will do. Beginning in the month of June, we will start allocating 25% of the budget towards praise. But the contributions that will be rewarded by SourceCred will not only be the contributions from June 2022, they will be the contributions that has been made for the last 12 months. And that will always be like a trailing 12 months. So when we do the token distribution in July of this year, we will look at July and all contributions going back 12 months. Which means that someone that made a significant contribution like 6 months ago will get a fairly small amount of SourceCred rewards the first time, but the same person will get rewarded again and again and again for the same contribution, because in every new period we will be looking back. So that is somehow the beauty of SourceCred, that it can smooth out and look back in time and other things that I cannot fully explain, but it should be good. What more can be said about this? Have I missed something significant? Yes, the time will come when the funds run out. We were initially planning to make the funds last only 12 months. The promise before the initial buy-in was that the reward board funds would last 6 months, and 6 months from January roughly, when the Commons upgrade and the initial buy was until June. But we proposed that we make the funds last 2 additional months, which sort of gives us some time to write a new proposal and also debate and debate that proposal and secure funds for the next period, whether that period would be another full 12 months or a shorter period. That will be a later discussion.
I think another thing, like, I think it's not in the post, but we were talking in the, like, with you, Christopher and Nagen, is like the funds. We have like 2 months. If we don't pass a proposal in next 2 months, we have some spare money for 2 months before making like the new proposal. So we're not using like the whole budget in this 12 months, but actually, like we have like for 14.
Yeah, if that didn't come across clear, that is what I meant. We have allocated for slightly less, no, slightly more than 1 year, so that we have funds for 2 additional months of debating and proposing a new budget for the following period. So but I guess we should have the goal of having a new proposal ready by the latest the end of June, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So does anyone have any questions about this proposal? Well, the proposal is out on the forum. If you haven't read it, go and read it, and if you feel that it's something that doesn't look good, make a comment. And we see this as an advice process. The reward board and the rewards working group have already been assigned the budget, so we have access to the funds. Now we're asking the community, or we propose to the community that this is how we would like to use the funds. And so unless we get a clear signal from someone or some group that you would see some other use of the funds, we will continue. We will not do a snapshot vote or anything like that unless we get a clear signal from the community that that is needed. So if we don't get any pushback, we will continue with this as planned, and quite soon, hopefully. What do you say, Mitch? Maybe end of next week. When would we like to do the first token payout?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 5-day advice process, so early next week, ASAP.
Yeah, we had those technicalities to sort out first with the price data and the RAD dashboard and the making sure that everything is
Okay. So
on
the next
the numbers.
blocker is okay. So then that is that a blocker then? Making sure that we have the right. Okay.
Yeah, currently today it is, but like Matt described, we going to upgrade the praise score calculation to make sure that the score is calculated correctly everywhere, and then upgrade to the new RAD dashboard version to make sure that the distribution calculations are all right, and then we're good to go. But all this is already in the works, so it's just mostly final touches to this.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, I guess that will be the thing to check, because that'll probably take longer than the advice process. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch, did you have anything else? You said you had something else that was more of a reward board issue.
No, I think I was thinking about payouts.
Okay.
And that was it. We kind of just said it.
Okay, we have 20 minutes left. We have onboarding and education, and we have the tutorial storyboard and communications. Let's start with onboarding and Livy, Vivi, and Edu, if you are here. Who would like to give a status update?
Yeah, I can share this this document I was working on. And Mitch, I just saw the one you were working on, so I'll add the points that you had also to this.
Mm-hmm.
But what I changed from the last one is just add the activate to, like, before it was that we needed to give permission to anyone, but now we just activate. And is the new commands you said, Vi, are they already working?
Soon.
There, I tried, but I didn't find the help command with the praise. I don't know if I tried.
It's not live on the on our Discord server yet.
Oh, okay.
In the coming days.
Okay, then I'll add the new commands here too. And then explaining how we use the forward command and what do we praise. Then based on the discussions we've been having in the review calls, I just put some question prompts out beside each one of the topics that we would praise. So being kind, how did someone's kindness impact your work or your participation in a TC? And many examples of them. And then what we don't praise, that's why I was asking about the meeting tracker bot and the Twitter bot, because I guess we're still going to praise meetings, and the only thing that we're not praising is contributions to discussions in the forum, right? The rest. And also GitHub. So Twitter and meetings we're still praising for indefinite time.
Yes, the Twitter tracking bot is far way off.
Okay. And then for the praise etiquette, I thought the 3 points from GUA analysis were good ones for people who are praising. So the general mention of the project, but not the actual contribution. And then I'll put some examples of this and action related to other TE projects, and then actions that are unrelated to TE projects. And this turned to be kind of like tiers for praising.
Hmm.
And then I
I
think
gave you lots of good images in the one that I wrote that you can use.
okay, cool. Awesome. So I'll add those in here. And then I was thinking the quantifier guide could be separate, because I think it's confusing to have like good etiquette for praising and good one for quantifying. So maybe we could separate these posts, and then for quantifiers, just give one that is
Yeah.
straightforward for quantifying.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that information is kind of redundant because it's been added to the quantifier onboarding doc. So we kind of had the same thoughts. I think we're on the right
Nice.
track.
And I see in the agenda, I guess you put that there. Mitch wants us to stop transcribing praise. You have no idea how much I fought for that. And because of fighting for that, we created this forward command because people were so against stopping transcribing praise.
It's just like quantifiers are coming with me like super confused by this person like praising everything, praising themselves a lot, and like in general we found that like spoken praise is so much lower quality than written praise. People are just rushed to say it and they don't give us very good details, like, you know, it's not very good. And so if the majority of our praise is coming from that source, it's like the majority of our praise that we have to quantify is low quality. You're muted, Christopher, if you're talking.
Have the forward command is started? Has it been used any yet? I don't think so. Because then one aspect of one reason that makes the praise low quality is that it comes all from the same person. Then that goes away at least.
What?
And also
Well,
just because
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, what if in the community call, instead of having like 45 seconds, which I agree is a rush, we have like two praises that you can do, like only two or even one if needed. But instead of putting an amount of time on the amount you can praise, just put amount of praise you can do.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I do believe the live praising to be a really nice community building ritual. I love hearing it, and I like being a part of it when I get the chance. But I do see, Mitch, what you mean, and I really see that happening.
So what we do, like we do praise and giveth, right? And everybody writes down their own praise, but then we still like you basically like you read the praise that you wrote down, and whether you paraphrase it or whatever, like you're still having that spoken praise, but you've also taken the time to write it down yourself.
yeah, it's funny we're having this conversation all over again. I think the person who was most against us doing that was Griff, because he was saying people are not going to write down their praise. And I think there could be a community education on that. But then I also agree that a lot of the praise would be missed, that people who are verbally speaking wouldn't write it down, and then that just wouldn't be captured. So I think the problem would be solved with this education of like how can just people be more specific about what they're praising? And also with the forward command, because the data we're seeing now is still like we're still seeing the old problem, and I think that's why we're bringing this discussion again, but we're not seeing the clear data yet from the forward command.
So then what Zepti's saying is like they would just give 2 praise during the call that would be transcribed.
I mean, it's just an idea. So if you have like that, if you only say 2, like you can be more like explain better, and then the rest you can just type it into the chat, and then we have like uh, people
I mean,
is
what's the point though?
like people is in the spot, they are giving like a long clarification on what they are praising, and then if they want to praise more people, they can just do it on the chat. So since they are already been in the spot, it seems like they are incentivized just to maybe I just praise Mitch and Christopher, but I also wanted to praise Levi for something like, and I am only allowed to do say 2, so I explained well the reason. I just praise Mitch and Levi, and then I just type down Christopher.
But if you're gonna write down some of your praise, why don't you just write down all of it? And then get rid of this transcribing process. Like you're still gonna say your praise during the meeting, so like people could still hear it and it is nice, but you've written it down and you've given it context.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to like instead of giving a minute per person, give just 10 minutes for everyone to write their praise on the praise channel, and that's it.
I think
Then you miss the vibes.
Yeah, that sort of defeats the whole thing. Then 10 minutes of live interactive praising becomes 10 minutes of silence, which is a totally different thing. But I guess this is perhaps is a steward's issue to discuss and propose and make changes to the community processes. The new press system supports either way. Using the forward command, we at least we get rid of the confusion of who sent the praise. Sorry. But the quality of praise, yeah, so could most likely be improved. I think Septi's proposal sounds nice.
And actually, like I agree with transcribing the praise ourselves. But the thing is, like also like people who comes to the community call like for first time, they are not going to be ready. That's yeah.
There's no time limit. Like they can praise anytime they want, right? So I mean, I don't know. And often people who have no idea what's going on don't really give any meaningful praise either. Like praise all the TEC for the work you do.
That's
It's
fair.
like, okay,
That's fair. That's fair.
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that a reason why the live praise is so low quality is because since you only have 40 seconds, you want to cram anybody in you really think you should praise. So maybe reducing it to like 2 or 3 makes the praise also better quality, just because you have more time to focus on exactly what you're praising.
I would like to nudge this topic of discussion to the steward's call or some other call. But maybe Chewy is not here, right? I'm thinking about the last thing on our agenda, the tutorial storyboard. But maybe we also have other communications related analysis transparency stuff to report.
No, we started that work, but then since the rush was in the forum post for the allocation, we switched topics. But I think I don't know, Nagin, if you're up to, but we could have another chat and polish that document we already started. And start like since we already have data, start just using the data and maybe create a template. And I mean, I said Nagin, but anyone who also wants to join is welcome.
So now you're talking about the post quantification analysis, this forum post, or
Yeah, I mean the idea, yeah, it's like posted like every 2 weeks, every time like there's a price fund, and then yeah, at some point we were saying like do a first global analysis with the first distribution. That probably involves more than 1 month, but yeah, we can discuss the details on the other call.
Yeah, I still have one question that I remembered because we were talking about doing the first distribution like next week or at least soon. How is the situation with all the missing Ethereum addresses for the first distribution? Do we have more now? Like the data, is the data we have in the GitHub old, and do we have new data now, which with the new export would show up?
The situation is worse now than it was before because we have new people coming into the system.
I gave the data that Christopher gave me yesterday of the missing activated quantifiers to Edu. And so, if anyone wants to help out Edu, reach out to all these people. I think he needs some help in Communitas. There's like hundreds of people still to contact.
443.
Yeah.
Oh,
God. So this is not an issue for the first payout, like we discussed in Amsterdam. I think that it will become an issue when we do the second payout, because then we need to start keeping track of who has activated since last payout and who should also have not only be paid for the second payout but also get retroactively for the first payout. So once we start doing payouts, we really need to come up with a smart solution to that. And I think that the smart solution is to keep payout lists and other data in the GitHub repository. For each period, we keep track of who should get how much funds and who has been paid how much funds. And as long as we have those lists for all the periods, we can write a smart script that adds together and compares and gives us the answers we need.
I mean, there's probably something I can do right now. We can just export also a list of all the people who didn't have an ETH address and how much they would have received, and just save it together with the rest of the analysis and just call it. Yeah, we can do that.
I think let's do some async brainstorming or something like that. See, ideally we try to use the data, the exports we already have as much as possible, so we don't have to create a new type of export or do as little work as possible, basically. But then, of course, I also have this idea about this super cool rewards, claimrewards.eth, the new service where we can do payouts without knowing the Ethereum addresses. But then we need a solid Solidity dev and a front end and a back end dev for a month or so, and we can hack that up.
I was actually going to write to you. I did a prototype yesterday, but I don't have a front end yet, so I'll send it to you.
On the on the thing.
On the Solidity side, you just mint an NFT with your with an ID, and the person who holds that NFT can claim the rewards, and you can just distribute to the contract or rewards, and they get updated with each distribution, and you just claim everything. But I have to.
Yeah, I know. I'd love that. I love to see, and we have Paxton Max who has offered to look at any Solidity code that is being produced and to comment it, etc. So we might actually proceed to build that thing if it doesn't look too complicated.
Cool.
Cool. We are running out of time. Does anyone want to add something?
Did you manage to onboard those 2 new devs, Christopher?
Pedro and Vitor, yeah. Pedro, he's already doing some work on the front end, And Vitor had some issue with the database, and he was working on that today. But I am, not
Cool.
fully onboarded yet, but I'm in contact with them.
Yeah, I know that you guys have a limited bandwidth, but there's just like such a backlog of features and bugs that like it's affecting our review sessions because we're like trying to analyze the praise dashboard and the process, but the process is never changing because there's no developer updates, you know?
Oh, okay, that is new information. What that is not how we see things from the dev team. Like there's a long, we are sort of making a lot of effort to do infrastructure work and packaging this to make it easily installable, and like new features is not like the top of our list. Of course, they're fixing bugs like this praise score thing. So what would you say? What is the things that you acutely need?
The marking duplicate.
Yeah, that one is high on the list.
Strange. There was another feature for the FAQ, which would just consolidate information that's kind of scattered around the forum.
Yeah, I know that we had an idea about that. We haven't added that to the here yet, to the product backlog.
You know, I don't think there's any glaring bugs that are really affecting us, but it's like from the quantifier experience, like it feels like not much has changed since we added in the weekend bar or the week divider.
No, we haven't talked about much other than the ability to mark more than one praise as a duplicate. As far as I know, when it comes to feature with quantify related stuff. No, of course the future features list is long, but we are not picking any of those. Yeah, we had the emojis, emoji tooltips.
Yeah,
that was one thing.
Yeah, and so obviously we can't put features over bugs, but I just want to make sure that you have enough developers to start going through this stuff. Because right now this is like when we're using this thing the most, right? We're doing a month of praise every week.
Yep. The roadmap and that ends in next after two more quantifications. But the multiple marking multiple praise as duplicates is high on the list. But other than that, then it's mostly we're aiming for this stable beta version where we can install the system for Common Stack and give it as well. So that is also like the top on our list.
Okay.
And that has to do with the Docker packaging and testing and making sure that it's stably.
Cool. All right.
Okay. It's 9 o'clock my time, which means we are out of